Hello everybody, welcome to Tpull's Corner. This is Travis and we're doing something we don't normally do. We're going into ranked. I realized it had been so long since I had gone into ranked I was starting the new season at a lower level than I usually do. And that's a mistake because the higher that you go in ranked, the more prizes that you get. The more rewards you get. So I needed to get back into ranked and do a little bit more. What I used to do was mono red. Mono red used to be pretty good when I started out, and it kind of changed over time. I played mono red so much at first that I started getting emails from Wizards of the Coast telling me that red was my favorite color, and that is not true. But I was doing a little bit of the grinding of going up the ranked charts. So this time when I went back, I played a little bit of mono red, but I got bored of it. There are thousands of cards in Magic the Gathering. It's hard for me to just stick to one deck for too long, let alone the same deck over and over. So I switched to other decks, and I kept coming up against mono red decks. And they would usually beat me. So I decided to give in to the meta, and I designed this deck. And lo and behold, I stopped facing mono red. Like, I went from 60% against mono red to, oh, I don't know. They're not going to let me keep the seat veteran. To maybe facing a 10% mono red. And I didn't even put in knockout blow or anything like that. But at least it gave me a little bit of variety in my opponents while playing ranked. So if you're really, really tired of facing mono red, you might want to copy this deck list when you get to the deck tech after this match. How many colors do they have? At least 3? They skipped all the way to Chapter 2. And I am not getting lands. They took my creature. Don't tell me they're going to win by beating me with my deck. Great. Just in time for the board wipe. Still no land. This is my first time going into ranked for tonight, so you can kind of see what Magic does to me, what Arena does to me with the lands. 6 lands to 3, and they get to put down whatever they want. This is fine. Let's get rid of my creature. For starters. Wow. Turn 7? And no new lands. I think I had a Ganjo at the opening hand, didn't I? Of course, on Curvy Tolly. How about that? I get stuck with 3 lands, and this is what my opponent gets. What a coincidence. I'm so surprised. I'm not used to ranked treating me this way at all. No, this is the way it's been for the last 3 years. Whenever I start off in ranked, this is what they do to me. Okay, so let's see. We kill the Carnosaur. We kill the Frillback. And someday we should get 1 land. No, we still don't get a land. Unbelievable. I know I'm supposed to bring something down, but you know, it kind of doesn't matter anymore. All I needed was one untapped land. They might have had removal, but still. I'll try this and see if that works at least. They didn't even attack with their land here. Okay, I need one land finally. 3, 6, 7. It's going to be turn 8? Or is this my turn? No, it's turn 8. Because they didn't place a land this time, right? Like they need that. No land the entire match. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This doesn't happen in regular play. I mean, I'll get land started in regular play sometimes, but not my very first play. But you can go back through the last 3 years of this channel, and I've got a playlist where I go into ranked, and I show you what happens. In the first battle, I get land starved. As soon as I switch over, I had done a couple of different things tonight. I had done a whole... I used a draft token to go in and do one of the little artifact, the new artifact format battles. Not really a lot of problems there. As soon as I go into ranked, mana starved. Well, there was red in there, but it wasn't mono red. As soon as I made a deck that was specifically anti-mono red, I have never run into so many Atraxes and Atalis in my life. It was like Arena decided to go exactly the opposite direction. And I didn't even go as hard anti-red as I could have. But let's go in and show you the deck. We ask you to like and subscribe and help the channel. We want to grow. I didn't get tricky with the name. I just called it anti-red. Okay, so we got a lot of small creatures to match up with the aggro, right? 19 creatures total. Pretty cheap for mana cost, 2.3 average. And so I kept 24 lands for 2.3. That seemed appropriate. But then that doesn't stop Arena from mana starving me. Moving on. I'm not bitter. Chaplain of Alms for strike and ward. For control, 4 copies of Elspeth's Smite. I'm still toying around with taking one of these out and having a bigger control spell. 4 Enduring Bond Wardens. I like to team that up with the Siege Veterans. I have 3 of them to add counters. I like to add counters onto the Bond Wardens. When they die, we get to put the counter somewhere else. 4 the Lunarch Veterans to give me a little bit of life. 2 Coppercoat Vanguards to give us ward. For more removal, Fierce Retributions, so that we can destroy target attacking creatures. If they get lazy and just want to sit there with a Shieldred, once I get 6 mana, I can pay the cleave cost and still kill a Shieldred when they're not attacking. Here's Not on My Watch, one of the newer cards, right? Exile attacking creature. I have 6 board wipes, technically, well, 7. I've got White Sun's Twilight, that'll give me some Phyrexian Mites. 1 Depopulate, and 4 of Expel the Interlopers, my favorite removal. Dial a yield for destroying creatures, and then 1 Farewell. I have 1 Faithbound Judge, that's the 4/4 Spirit Soldier with Defender Flying and Vigilance. If they kill it, I can use Disturb for 7, bring it down as Sinner's Judgment, and then once each upkeep it gets a Judgment counter on it. Once the 3rd Judgment counter is on it, the enchanted player, that's my opponent, they lose the game. So it's an alternate win scenario there. Here's Repel the Vile. I can exile target creature power 4 greater or exile an enchantment. And 1 little 4-cost bomb for Phyrexian Vindicator, which I couldn't even get enough energy to cast. I do have 2 Fields of Ruin to take out things like Mirexes, because Mirexes are all over the place. A couple of Fair Basilicas for card draw. 1 Blast Zone. 2 Hidden Courtyards for Discover. And 1 Aganjo. Well, 2 Aganjos. Sorry. That's it. It's cheap, it's fast. It doesn't always win against mono red, but it does a heck of a lot better than all my previous decks that I had been using that had been just ignoring the meta environment. I was just making my new decks like I always do If they did well, I took them into ranked. So let's go a few more times. We'll see if we come into any mono red at all today. But as I said, if you are going into ranked a lot, if you're getting tired of the grind, if you just keep coming up against mono red after mono red after mono red, you might want to try this deck list out. You might get sick of seeing Atraxa and Italy, so you might get tired of the other side of things, but, you know, you can't win them all. Or maybe any of them at my rate. We'll see how this one goes. Again, starting with 3 lands. Let's see if I get any more lands for the entire match. I should. Wizards shouldn't be doing this to me all the time. Hey, looks like already mono red no matter what. This should be a hasty creature for the most part, right? No, it's Goldhound. This is a different deck list than usual. Okay. There we go. That one has already haste because it has that. Okay. We're not going to block that. Where did that get through? That comes down. That's fine. We will pass. This is first strike, doesn't it? Three creatures already. Another Kimono. Let's go ahead and block with our first strike. And let's take out etchings here. We'll see if we get past the first strike damage or not. Or if they have a trick. They have to pay the ward cost. Gains 2 and gains first strike until end of turn. Okay. That way they don't have to pay the ward cost, so we'll just destroy the attacking creature. Need one more to do expel the interlopers. We will go ahead and just attack. We'll get rid of this Goldhound next, I think. Or maybe that. Yet another haste card. Usually what happens when I go up against mono red is they empty their hand real early and kill me. And here I've managed to empty most of my hand as well. But I do have the one expensive card, and I do still need more land for it. What chapter are they going to do here? This is an artifact creature, right? So they could go straight to chapter 3 if they wanted. No, they don't want to do that. Okay, fine. Two more damage to me. Okay, we'll keep one on defense. one of my creatures. They're actually gonna do it. I'm actually gonna get rid of Etching a Kimono, so my stuff doesn't get exiled later. Okay, so we're not getting land, so we're just gonna stay on the defensive. Yeah, we'll pass here. And we can't really afford not to block at this point. Actually, we might chump block with the veteran here. Wow. I didn't expect them to do that. Okay, we chump block there. First strike takes out these two. I guess it's true. If you're playing mono red, you just turn them sideways and run in no matter what. Aha. We have 5. Okay, so we bring this in as another chump blocker. Go ahead and get our first strikers up to 5. So if they get that thing up to 5 again, we can just still take it out right away. And this is usually when mono red scoops. Blast zone. That's 1. Those are 1 too, though. Okay, so never mind. I need to keep what I got there. Let's do this. We'll fly overhead. Knock him out that way. And you know what? Let's go ahead and draw a card. I like that. We pump up the Bond Warden, always. One more point of damage to me, down to 6. But they just can't really get through now. They need their own board wipe. I'm kind of flooding out with land. You know I said always Bond Warden, but... if I got that to 3, we can cut this down a tiny bit. Okay, 5th land and they scoop. We lasted too long. So, yeah. We may not do well against some other decks, but we do fairly well. I know I just said doo-doo. We do perform fairly well against mono red. And there you see it. Now, since I've soundly thrashed mono red, so to speak, we shouldn't really see them again. That's been my experience so far playtesting this deck. There have been some other, like Selesnya aggro decks or all-white aggro decks. We get to go first and everything, although it did give me 2 of the most expensive cards in the entire deck at the very beginning. it's not like I have a lot. I have one farewell, and I have 4 of these. So five cards that I would really prefer to wait on a little bit. We're just going to attack and see if they want to trade. If they have instant removal, they probably will want to trade, right? I get to put these on this, and then they'll still just remove it next turn. Yep. Oh, how about that? They have exactly what they need. And I got my creature to be just the exact kind of toughness they needed. How about that? They are able to kick things. Just going to pass here. We've got an Elspeth Smite. They're getting all of their land. They're getting all of their creatures. Get rid of one, so they can't bring it back. And since we have 2 of these, let's not wait. Notice these are pretty cheap, right? 2 and 3 mana cost, so that's probably what we're going to be up against for the most part. It's a pain land, right? We don't need to use Field of Ruin on that. We'll wait for a Restless Fortress or something. Ah, Voice of the Blessed. A little bit of a life gain tactic, eh? There won't be any surprises here. They know that we're low on our power. They're going to wait to attack, though. I think we can just store House of Ganjo for a little bit. Ah, lifelink. Well, look at this little synergy here. Still not attacking. I guess it's a waiting game. Let's try Elspeth's Smite. It worked! Sweet. Ooh, that's a fun one. See what they got against it. Another Destroy Evil. Okay, so they're gonna have 4 of those. Oh, such a nice card, too. No blocks here. They all have power 2. You're kidding me. To 11, and they run from a couple of 1/1s after they got rid of my most powerful creatures. Well, I guess even the mono white can be just like mono red, right? They can be impatient if they want to try and rank up fast. If it's going to be too difficult, a lot of people don't want to hang around. I encounter that in standard, but actually encountered a lot more in ranked. Ooh, another Red Sun's Twilight. I wonder how many copies I have of that now. Let's keep going. The most expensive card in my deck starts in my opening hand. That's more what I'm used to seeing. That's the way I'm used to being treated. However, I did compensate. I did go lower. Most of my normal deck construction, I like to play with the big cards like this. So sometimes I don't even have a 1-drop in my deck. So having a bunch of 1-drops is kind of a rarity for me. Here's where we see if they have counterspells. No more lies. So they probably have 4 of those. Might as well get rid of them now. I just need to not miss a land drop. And we can put a test to exactly how many counterspells they have. There's 3 colors, so white, black, and blue control. Which means they also probably have board wipes. They're already looking at my champion palms. And I really need to get some... Oh, figures. Missed a land drop, of course, because I won the last match. I won the last couple matches. So, yeah. Hopefully they attack. Hopefully they tap all their mana so I don't have to worry about counterspells and then attack. That would be nicer. But they're blue, so you've got to wait now all of a sudden. With my luck, they have DV's counterspell. They're looking at Chaplain of all. They're actually going to use a removal spell on it. Okay. Let's see if this flies. It does! Sweet! Finally! Happy day! We don't have to worry about cut downs. Let's spread it around. Number of auras you control. Okay. Does that mean I have to put it with Flying Torment?
Now you've done it. Hat's coming off. I am almost sad to see you go.
See if they chump block. Okay, now the question is, do they just have yet another
Our
Wandering
swords
Emperor
will cross again.
next turn? They're not missing land drops. Yet another removal spell? It's all basically versions of removal, right? No More Lies, Cut Down, Curse of Leeches. Not Curse of Leeches, but Wandering Emperor is basically removal. Now they got card draw going on. Took them a while to figure that part out. Okay, I think we don't use that. I think we just pump our stuff up here. And no real reason to hold back on anything while they're tapped out. If a Wandering Emperor comes out and exiles one of them next turn, I can still rush in. They'll have to be faced with the same issue of chump blocking or losing the Planeswalker. This is usually where we see a board wipe from these type of control decks. Like Wandering Emperor is usually not enough for them. They have the counter spells, they have the cut downs, they have the cheap, you know, removal spells. They have the Planeswalker removals. Aha! Look at that. Called it. Just about on curve too. Okay, I guess we're going to pass. They do have the Farewell, but they probably have a counterspell. Let's see what happens if we do this first. You can't use No More Lies, right? Because I have 3. Yeah, we'll just let that happen. Could beef up the Blast Zone and start using it on the Curse of Surveillance eventually. It's a nice little extra card draw they're going to have for a while. Let's go ahead and bring this down since we got it. They can use No More Lies now. But even a cut down takes care of this. So, not much of a threat. That's kind of gross. Another enchantment. Oh, excellent. Thank you. It's still, let's see, does that turn into an enchantment? It does. Okay, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. As soon as I get a turn. What do they have? What's left for you to do with 1 mana? I don't have anything that I can really get out of my graveyard. So, let's go ahead and hit these puppies. Graveyards, enchantments. I'm gonna keep my creature. Let's see how the normal control decks like having Farewell cast on them. They can bring this thing out though, right? Get a map token. Yep, there comes a cut down. I guess I should have just gotten rid of the creatures, huh? Blast Zone doesn't work against the tokens. They have yet another Curse of Leeches handy. That's the 3rd one already? Gross. Alright. We will cast a spell so that doesn't change. We will get rid of this Restless Anchorage I see there. And we're going to draw a card. Okay. Prevents that from turning into a 4/4 at least. And it can't attack with the 1/1 unless it removes it. Oh, never mind. Oh, they're going to control it? Becomes a Death Touch Assassin, eh? That's a lot of energy to spend on a 1/1. Okay, we've drawn the same lands. I could stand to stop drawing land. Let's go ahead and discover. Yeah, sure. Yet another one. Wow. Well, they have the energy, and all I'm putting out are 1/1s, so. Yeah, we'll make the trade. We'll trade there. That's 5, huh? All right. They're gonna make me pay for it? Okay. Let's go ahead and put a charge counter on Blast Zone. Any day now. What are you gonna do? I've got 4 other of my Dial Yield board wipes and they're not coming up. Okay, we get rid of the enchantments. I get my 2 creatures back. Pass the turn. We didn't cast any extra spells, so it stays nighttime, which means it's still a creature, which means it's susceptible to a Ganjo, which can't really be disrupted that much by blue. They're going to shuffle it into my... Are they going to shuffle it into my library, or are they just going to keep it tapped? They used all their card draw. Mostly tap themselves out. Is this the 3rd lurker we've gotten rid of? You're not the only one who's been saving up. Now we wait and see if they have a farewell. How many cards do they have left? They've drawn a couple more than me because they had the card draw enchantment for a while. Just another board wipe. Ugh. Well, at least I get some life out of it. Nice. Ah. Go away. Thank you. And it's about that time for me to start getting a bunch of lands and flooding out. Opponent 2. Okay, here's a 0/1. Wow. They spent a lot of time thinking about that. I kind of feel glad in a sense that they have to spend all this extra energy to take out a 1/1 creature or a 1/2 creature. Oh yeah. Okay, now if you don't have removal on this, I'm finally golden. Oh. Board wipe. Okay. How about a 1/1? Another dissipate. How much can they really have left? I feel good about this one. They probably don't have anything to exile it. So in a couple of turns, I'm going to be able to attack with it. And if they do get rid of it, then I've got another way to win. Okay, there's the board wipe. I'm counting on the fact that they don't have a counter spell. And that they don't have a way to remove enchantments. They haven't shown that so much yet, right? So we should be good. Any kind of creature they put down, we're automatically equipped to take care of. They go digging. Are we actually going to beat black, white, blue control? Oh, happy day. Unless they top deck something miraculous. We'll keep plugging away. Here's a 1/1 or 1/2 for 1 energy. You gonna do anything with it? You gonna finally let one of my poor little creatures survive? It's got a bunny rabbit on it, right? That is a bunny rabbit, isn't it? Nope. They just killed it anyway. They killed it anyway. You're gonna die next turn. You still killed the little bunny rabbit? That's not a bunny rabbit. If you know what that is in the comments, write it down. I'm not the greatest on the current lore. They've got a creature. It's another land. That's not going to save you. You can't come hit me in the face if you want. They'll get a map token. Oh yeah, I can just do that. I thought I had that for a second. We'll probably make this the last one just because going up against control decks, it takes so long. I mean, I only had 21 cards left in my entire deck. So there you have it. There's always a lot of you. I don't know about a lot, but there's always some of you that want to see me do battles in ranked, and I usually don't because I hate mostly having to go up against mono red. I find it really boring, and there's a limited number of cards you can use when you restrict yourself to that. And I want to explore, you know, these hundreds of other cards that Magic has. So I tend not to go into ranked, but every once in a while I'll do it for you. So there you have it. There's a whole one with ranked. You can see we do fairly well against what we designed it for, or against, I should say, against mono red. And we only did, like, what, 1 and 4 against mono red? Down to 25% instead of 50 or 60% going up against them. So if you are tired of facing mono red all the time, match after match after match, consider putting together something like this. It does have to be a little bit more on the cheap side. But you notice I did go ahead and put in some expensive board wipes. And just in case they don't have things ready to get at you, you know, if you do get out of Phyrexian Vindicator, it can just win the game in and of itself. And I should probably burn some wild cards and get more of these because I really do like this card. And just having one in your deck, you sometimes win with the Aura Curse, as you just saw. And so that was kind of fun. I think I've accomplished everything I wanted to already, right? We did ranked. We went up against all different types of deck styles. We had the alternate win scenario. We showed we can defeat mono red. I'm not sure what else to show you, so I'm just going to leave it here. So as always, we ask you to leave some comments, like and subscribe. All that helps the channel. And I'll have something new for you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.